Hello my fellow YouTubers, as you can tell I am back again with another Cowboys video, and I'm going to be doing my best to kind of summarize my overall honest thoughts on the Week 1 game versus Tampa, based on how I saw things unfolded in that game, and just, give my honest assessment. There'll definitely be some ranting, but it's just me being fully honest on how I just really think of the overall structure of this team. And to be honest, I'm not sure I'm going to be doing any more Cowboy videos anytime soon, based on what happened recently. I definitely had some time to think about this and try to do my best to be analytical. I'm going to be talking about the positives, the negatives, discussing the coaching staff, front office with the Joneses, and certain players that performed and didn't perform. And so let's just dive right into it. For the positives, I'll start with Tyler Smith. I'd say he had a solid game overall. He was far from perfect. He allowed a sack and had a couple of pressures. But I think down the road, Tyler Smith will be a good left tackle in the future. And whenever Peters is up to speed, the recent left tackle that we signed, maybe they'll kick Smith back into guard, because that's where he originally started at in the first place. And he might be an even greater guard, Pro Bowler type. So I definitely see some bright things with Tyler Smith. And some discussing with the offense, I'll mention a couple other players. Zeke actually looked pretty decent in this game. He actually had some good runs. Surprisingly, he actually had 52 yards of offense, even though it seemed like we didn't run the ball much. And we could have maybe had potential to score more points if our brilliant offensive coordinator, Karen Moore, or Kellen, but I'm calling him Karen because he's just totally fucking clueless and doesn't know how to really maximize a running game very well. So, but I'll get to him. So Zeke actually still has something left, I would say. That's if in the next 16 games going forward we actually utilize his talents. And also Schultz, our tight end Schultz, he had a decent game. He was able to make the catches he could whenever he got open when given the opportunity. Okay, and for the defense, Micah Parsons. I feel like he was really the best player on the defense. He definitely came to play. He got the 2 sacks on Brady, the only sacks that we were able to get on him, despite the fact that later on after that, the Bucs was able to kind of counteract his moves, and Leonard Fournette was able to chip him, and they were able to key on him, and sadly the rest of the defense failed to step up, which I'll definitely get into. And Donovan Wilson, he actually did a smart thing by disguising his coverage. He intercepted Brady, gave us a fighting chance to really get back into the game and maybe take the momentum back. And we were in good field position, but sadly the offense couldn't do anything with that. And that's really it's going to lead into the negatives. Starting with Dak Prescott, he had a horrendously bad game. And I wouldn't say it's his number 1 worst, but it's definitely up there. I would say his top 5 worst games, especially at home. And the fact that we only scored 3 fucking points, that is just truly embarrassing. Because that first game, or first week of the NFL, we are the lowest scoring points because we didn't even score a touchdown. And Dak, I don't know what the hell were you thinking. I mean, I know you're not going to be perfect. I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know if you're not fully recovered from the ankle injury or if it was the recent injury, but there was no excuse for your fucking poor play out there. And you're throwing behind receivers and just not hitting on your targets. Though maybe a couple times the receiver failed to make the catch, I'll say that. And then, of course, Dak being injured, his injury on his right thumb, his throwing hand especially. He had the surgery on Monday. Going to be 6 to 8 weeks initially, though supposedly he might come back in 4 to 6. I'd say that's not a good idea to rush him. I have no idea why the front office, especially the Joneses' way of thinking, think it's good to do that. Of course, they really make a lot of dumb and poor decisions, which I'll definitely get to at some point. But overall, Dak, just really pathetic. But I wouldn't say it's all on him. I'm going to go to now Kellen Moore, or as I like to call Karen Moron. My goodness, dude. You absolutely have no fucking feel for the game. You're basically just another Garrett and Linnenheim 2.0. You would maybe get something going, especially with the running game, and you would just go back to being past fucking happy, especially when your quarterback is not performing the way he should. If he's not performing the way he should, you should fucking try to lean on that running game. It's not that fucking hard to do, you idiot. And oh yeah, those trick plays that I saw? My goodness, what the fuck was that? Those went for negative yards. Both times. Luckily, the first time, on that first drive, we were actually able to get the only points. That's fucking embarrassing, dude. You just want to get cute when it doesn't warrant it. And that was just really stupid and idiotic. What the hell were you thinking? What the flying fuck were you thinking, dude? Do you think you just want to be the herald? You want to be heralded as a genius? You just want to think you're smarter than everyone else. Well, you know what? You just went several steps backwards. You don't know how to get creative, and you need to get creative. And if the wide receivers are not running the desired routes that they're supposed to, or not getting open, you should have at least put Simi Fehoko in there, because he has some serious speed to him. He could at least go down deep, because we didn't even take any shots until he arrived, and it seemed like he was able to do that. But of course, you didn't put Fehoko in till the last 4 fucking minutes. What kind of fucking coaching is that, Moore? Seriously, what the hell is that? Then you, for whatever decision, I don't know if it's you or McCarthy, I don't know why you thought it was a good idea to make Tolbert inactive. Sure, he didn't have the best preseason game, but you know what? He wasn't playing with Dak during the preseason. He only played with Dak during practice, training camp. And he basically only played with the backup quarterbacks during the preseason. I don't know what y'all are thinking, but that was really beyond pathetic and dumb. If the wide receivers that you start off with for the first half, if they were not getting open, they were not running like they should have been doing, you should have at least taken one of those guys out and put Fehoko in there. Because somehow he allows at least the attempt to, go deep, or at least, open up the playbook and open up the passing game a bit. But I didn't see that. So Kellen Moore, I'm sorry, dude, you just don't have it in you. And I hope you're fucking gone after this season. Because you don't have a knack for being creative. You go into this funk and this shell whenever things are not going the way they're supposed to. You don't know how to maximize the player's strengths, especially in the wide receivers. It seems like you forgot about Schultz or even Hendershot, who seemed to find a way to, who showed some potential in that preseason. And you didn't really put your deep threat guy in Fehoko until the last 4 fucking minutes. That's just beyond idiotic and just pathetic coaching. And for you, McCarthy, I'm sorry, dude. You claim to be an analytical type of guy. You're a fucking fraud, dude. You're just so fucking clueless, aloof, and just nonchalant, especially when things go wrong. You have very poor time management. You almost cost us a couple games last year with your poor time management skills. And I don't know if it's because Jerry is neutering you or trying to, make you just the walk-around head coach like he did with Garrett, and you have no input on the fucking offense. Wasn't the offense that Kellen Moore was calling kind of similar to your offense, even though if I understood you're a West Coast guy? I can't believe you don't really know the whole terminology of the offense. Have you not been in any meetings or discussions with Kellen Moore? You need to show some balls and take back the play calling. But of course, recently you said you're not going to do that. So that just leads me to believe that you're just, happy to take a paycheck and just walk around and act tough and huff. Maybe you're not as bad as Garrett, because at least you don't ice your own kicker. But I don't see you getting in the players' faces when they're fucking up and making mistakes. I hardly see any I sometimes see a little emotion, but not enough to where you chew a player out or discipline him or bench that player. I'm sorry, McCarthy. I hope this is your last season. But it's not always his fault either. I'm going to get to the front office. You fucking Joneses are just truly the worst owners in sports. You just like to think you're smarter than everyone else, where you're just like so many steps further backwards. And the nerve of you just trying to fucking be cheap, trying to be economical, and just penny pinch at every chance you get because you don't want to pay certain players or don't want to sign veterans that can at least help and improve your roster, or you want to just not deal with the whole money pie situation, especially with you, cat bitch Steve Jones. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. I'm also tired of hearing you talk and act like you know everything, especially when Steve just recently said, oh, we believe in this team. Yeah, I believe this team is going to be, not making the playoffs. I know it's one game, but the way we performed out there, the way that Dak handled himself, and the fact that he's going to be out, how the hell are we going to be expecting the Cowboys to really be successful, especially when the wide receivers are lacking in so much confidence and they look shaky as hell. The O-line looks shaky as hell, especially with McGovern being out for about 2 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain. The fact that you didn't really do anything in free agency to help, the O-line, especially with Tyron Smith, that injury he had in practice before the season begun, knowing that he is injury prone and won't make it through the whole season, that is just complete pathetic neglect on your fucking part, Joneses. Especially you, Jerry, you're such a fucking control freak and a narcissist, thinking you're always smarter when you're just a whole lot fucking dumber. Same with you, cat bitch. Just because you're a fucking engineer does not mean you know anything about football and how it operates. You need to get some solid depth that will, solid depth, sorry if I didn't sound right, but solid depth to really help your offense or even the wide receivers, especially when Michael Gallup wasn't going to even be back for the first game, and when James Washington had that injury during training camp. You should have at least signed somebody. That's what I would have done, but you are just completely aloof, clueless, and just completely neglectful of your roster. You need to make some changes here and there. At least try something like that, but you won't even fucking do it. So if anything, Jerry, you should just sell the fucking team and just never fucking be an owner of a football franchise ever again. Same with you, Steve. You shouldn't at all just talk anymore. I'm tired of hearing your bullshit. And also with you, Jerry, I hate it when you hand contracts out like they're fucking candy, overpaying for Dak. If anything, you should have signed Dak to a much cheaper contract, because now that's not looking so good. Overpaying to Marcus Lawrence. And now that I think about it, I'll get into the defense. But overall, Joneses, just shut your fucking mouths. I'm tired of hearing your bullshit. Defense. While they did the best they could and they got the turnover, we still got gashed in the running game. Leonard Fournette had over 100 yards rushing. Julio Jones had a big catch on Anthony Brown. Brady, of course, got a touchdown, but we were able to limit him pretty well. He was limited to over 200 yards passing. But the run defense was still horrendous. The interior was awfully disappointing. You had Gallimore, you had Osa, there was Bohanna, but neither of them got very good push on the interior line, because here's the thing, Tampa was missing their starting center and their guard, and eventually even their tackle went out. And despite all that, it seems like they still couldn't get very good pressure on Brady. I don't know if it's the defensive line coach, the scheme, but that was just so fucking disappointing, because they got big plays on us in the run game and even the passing game. They got them in chunks here and there. But that didn't help when the offense couldn't even counterattack all that. And that's so disappointing. Dan Quinn, this was not a good defensive scheme that you called upon. Especially with Brown. I have no idea why you still allow Brown to start, because he's neither been that impressive. He either gets burned a lot or he occasionally makes good plays. But Brown is just not that good of a cornerback. He really should just be a slot guy or a real good backup. He's not starter material. I'm sorry. He gets burned a lot. If anything, Kelvin Joseph deserves a chance to start. I know the guy's not the brightest, But you know what? He has so much potential. He can learn and grow for this. You know what you're going to get with Brown. Occasionally good and a whole lot of bad. And D-Law, other than that one stop, ever since 2017, 2018, you have not been that same guy since then. Clearly overpaid, taking a huge paycheck, making an occasional stop, but not anything that's, game-changing. It's like you're completely invincible out there. And even Anthony Barr didn't seem to really do much either. Leighton Vander Esch may have made a few good tackles, but even he had his problems too. I don't know what's up with this, but the whole defense, it still needs some work, and it's not the top 5 or even top 10 defense I thought it was going to be. Still looks like the defense from the playoffs last year. So, I don't know. I don't know what to expect this season. Defense might give a good effort, but it's not going to be good enough. That's why, honestly, I just don't care anymore. Because the Joneses, they take a whole lot of fun because of their narcissism, their neglect, and just their whole overall approach to things. Because this is such a dysfunctional franchise that just only cares about, getting so many views that you don't really care to improve the roster, or you think what you're doing by relying on your own guys is going to be a good thing, and they're going to turn into this great player, a diamond in the rough. Going cheap and going economical does not equivalent to more wins or even the same amount of wins. It might equivalent to even more losses. And that doesn't work. So, I don't know if I want to talk about any more of this. I'm starting to go into a rant, so I don't feel like ranting because it's not worth it. I know the Cowboys can do so much better than this, but the way the Joneses approach things, it's not helping us. It's not giving us any kind of hope for championships or even conference championship appearances or divisional playoffs wins as well. We haven't had anything like that since the mid-90s, and that's truly just... It's just truly pathetic and just unbelievable how the Joneses' attitude and their approach to things have just prevented us from even going from that higher level. That's why I really don't care. At heart, I'm going to be a fan, but I am just fucking sick to death of the front office and the Joneses and their unbelievable narcissistic way of thinking. So, but anyways, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they clearly wanted this game and they won it. They have some good positional coaches that know how to take advantage of weaknesses, whether it be on offense and defense. Oh yeah, and going back to maybe one other positive, at least Mohawk made a field goal, made it from 51 yards and got us our only points because we probably would have been shut out. If I were them, if we continue to play this way for the next several games, I don't know, like I said, I'm not going to probably make another video. I would go scorched earth and just get a new head coach. And Jerry, I would just sell the fucking team because I just don't want to hear anything out of your fucking mouth. And I certainly don't want to hear anything out of you, cat bitch. Because I'm tired of hearing your smart way of thinking of just saving money and just going a cheap way. It doesn't always work in your favor. So yeah. Anyway, it's 18 minutes long. I better just end it pretty soon. So, but I think I'm going to have one other positive coming from this. I'm going to be having another kind of Blu-ray update. Hopefully I'll do that tomorrow and we'll go from there. So, yep. My overall thoughts on week 1 and probably what's going to be happening in the next several games. So yeah. Anywho, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to leave comments. Hopefully they're, understanding, and hopefully you get where I'm coming from. So, all right. Be seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.